it. Story?
Tell us a story.
Oh, first time, you got it absolutely perfect. I'll tell you another story about justice. What's this about? Well, you can tell me what it's about when it's finished. When it's a story that feels just right to tell, like the Seed of Justice in this particular week, this particular event. Celebrating cultures from around the world. This is a Yiddish story, which was told by Jewish people in Poland. I said was because, yeah, people who told that story, many of them didn't survive or travelled to other parts of the world and brought the story with them, as did Isaac Bashevis Singer, who wrote this story down. This is a traditional Yiddish story. There was a village of fools. The village was called Helm. Everybody in the village was foolish, but the greatest fool of all was a man called Shlemiel. Shlemiel lived with his wife and all of their children. They were not rich. Shlemiel was so foolish he was good for nothing. His wife would grow cabbages and vegetables in the garden and then take them to the marketplace to sell. Shlemiel did nothing really except look after the younger children when his wife was not present. And even with that job, he could not be trusted. Shlemiel listened to stories of people that had travelled beyond Helm to other parts. Some had been to the capital, and he wondered, what would it be like to visit the capital? One day, Shlemiel had an idea. I will leave Helm and visit the capital, but I will not tell my wife. She would not permit me to go. So when his wife had gone to the market, Shlemiel, he went to the older children and he said, your job today is to look after the younger ones. Why, father? Because I am going on a journey. And Shlemiel, he put one onion in his pocket and one crust of bread in the other, and he set off. He walked through the streets of Helm, which he knew well, and waved goodbye to all his neighbours and friends. And when he came to the edge of the town, he hesitated. He had never been outside of Helm before in his life. This was the road to the capital. Shlemiel, he started walking along that way. On and on he walked, and the weather was sunny. Warm and shining sun above his head. Hotter and hotter. And Shlemiel wondered, it is getting so hot, and my feet are hurting. I've never walked so far before. My boots are worn out, and the soles are coming off. I need to rest. And in the middle of the day, Shlemiel, he sat down, he pulled off his worn boots, and he set them on the roadside. I'm going to have a little rest in the sunshine, and when I wake up, I will walk in the direction my boots are pointing, on towards the capital. That way, I'll know which way to walk. And he lay down. He took that onion from his pocket and had a nice mouthful, and took a crust of bread and chewed on that, and then, now I will rest. And he lay down by the side of the road, and he slept. Have you ever lain down and slept in the sunshine on a warm and sunny day?
Yes.
Nothing better.
So when you get burns.
Yeah. Well, along the way came a thief. And the thief thought, here's an opportunity. He crept up to this strange-looking fellow lying by the road and felt inside his pockets. Oh, a half-eaten onion. Didn't fancy that. Chewed crust of bread. I might be hungry, but I wouldn't eat that. A pair of boots. thief picked them up. Ooh, how they stank! Oh, the soles are hanging off. Even my old boots are better than these. There's nothing I'm going to steal from this fellow. And the thief put the boots down. But you know what happened, don't you? The boots were now pointing in the opposite direction, back towards hell. On his way went that crafty thief. No better for having gone through Shlemiel's pockets. The sun was going down now when Shlemiel rose from his sleep. Oh, what a dream I had of eating homemade strawberry jam. Oh, if only. How I miss my wife's delicious homemade strawberry jam. Well then, Shlemiel, he decided it was time to continue. I must go to the capital. This is what I've decided. And he looked at his boots and thought, so that's the way to go. He pulled the boots on his feet, got up and started walking. On and on he walked. The day was fading. It was already evening when he caught sight in the distance ahead, a town. I'm reaching the capital now. Oh. And as he came to the first houses, he thought, they look just like the houses in Helm. Really familiar. Who would have thought that the capital would look so similar? On he went through the streets, and there were people waving. Hello! How are you, Shlemiel? How do you know my name? Well, you're Shlemiel. I've never met you before. I've never been here before. I come from Helm. This is Helm, they said to him. Oh, are you joking with me? This is Helm, they said. Another Helm? I never thought there would be another Helm. Well, on Shlemiel went through the streets. He came to a house that was exactly the same colour and the same design as his own little house in Helm. It even had a tumble-down door just like his and a bit broken on the side. He, out of curiosity, opened the door and stepped inside. And there were children, the spitting image of his own. I mean, they were as like to his children as drops of water are to each other. What? Who are you? Father, they said, you're back. I've never met you before. I come from Helm, the other Helm. No, you're our father, they said. Nonsense. Who is your father? He's called Shlemiel. He left this morning to go on a journey. You mean there's another Shlemiel in the world? Just then the door opened and in came a woman that looked just like Schlemiel's wife. Who are you? He said. What do you mean, who am I? I'm your wife. Can't be. My wife is in the other Helm. Sit down, she said, and she brought him some potato soup. He ate the soup. Oh, it tasted even better than his wife's own potato soup. It was so nourishing. I have to go, he said. I have to travel to the capital. What are you talking about? You have to look after the children. These aren't my children. They're not my responsibility, Shlemiel. I'm going to the capital. No, she said, it's dark outside. You will go to bed. Well, Shlemiel thought about this and thought, well, it would be nice to have a little lie down. So Shlemiel went to the bed that she showed him, which was as comfortable, if not more so, than the bed he had left behind in his home back in the other Helm. While he was sleeping, his wife, she went to find the elders of Helm with their long beards. When Helm, the sun had risen in the morning, standing around Shlemiel's bed they were, the elders of Helm, the wise people. Shlemiel, they said, what are you doing? I'm getting up, said Shlemiel. I'm going to the capital. Why, Shlemiel, you're needed here. This is where you belong. I'm not Shlemiel that you know. You're talking about the other Shlemiel. I'm the Shlemiel that came from the other Helm, and now I will leave for the capital. No, said his wife, you cannot leave. Oh, how will I manage my children if I don't have a husband to look after my children? Well, This is a concern, said the elders, stroking their beards. What do you suggest? And Shlemiel's wife said, I suggest you pay him to stay here and look after my children. After all, it's good for all the community. Pay him, said the elders. They talked to each other and said, we will pay you to stay here. We will pay you 3 guilders every week. Well, Shlemiel was thinking this was quite a good wage. But his wife said, no, 3 is too few. 6 would be enough. 6, said the elders. They leaned in and talked to each other. 5. Agreed, said Shlemiel's wife. I can't say I stay here long, said Shlemiel. Perhaps just a few days? You will stay here, said his wife. I'll make sure you do. Well, Shlemiel, he ate the good soup that the other Shlemiel's wife had prepared, and he was happy enough. The days passed, the weeks passed, the months passed, and the years passed. Many years later, he was still there in the other helm. Shlemiel sat there, and every time in that town of Helm, when people came visiting, and his children were now grown and gone, he would say to them, you know, life is a strange thing, and he would talk about that adventure many years before. He would say, I have some wise words to share with you, and no wiser words have ever been spoken by anyone. Wise words for you all to remember here in Exeter at this festival. Words to consider. Shlemiel said, those who remain in hell are certainly in hell. Those who leave hell end up in hell. All roads lead to hell. The world is one big hell.
Woo! Is it still raining?
If it rains the rest of the afternoon, you have to stay here, okay?
That's alright, I'm worried about my scooter.
Oh, yeah, fine. We'll make sure I never cover it.
Yeah, just cover it up with that.
I give you Deborah Hamilton and Kimwei. Thank you so much for joining and improvising and playing with me today. It's an absolute joy. Thank you very much, Shane, for hosting.